The Democratic Party, I do think, understands that they are at an existential moment. Parties don't have to survive. The Whigs came and went, and others, and they understand they're not going to win with the AOC wing.
Why is it that the Democrats didn't look at the reasons they lost and then try to come more to the middle? Instead,
they're doing it finally.
Not AOC, not Bernie.
On the latest Club Random, Bill Maher sat down with Jillian Michaels, and things got fiery fast. One of the hottest topics was AOC. The two went head-to-head on whether the DNC stands a chance in 2028 with her on the ticket. And let's just say it was an absolute firestorm. Ma came in swinging with some blazing truth bombs, but Jillian held her ground as a sharp-tongued devil's advocate. There's a lot of heat to unpack. So smash that subscribe button, and let's dive right in.
She is the front runner, followed close, I guess not a close second, but then...
That's just name recognition.
Okay, fair. And one would hope, honestly. Because I've been underwhelmed by her for quite some time, whether you like her or not.
AOC, you're talking about Kamala?
Yeah.
Oh, totally underwhelming.
But then the next one in line is AOC.
I mean, I voted for her, but totally underwhelming.
So, the duo were diving into the recent IC arrest and the inevitable Democratic meltdown that followed. Ma argued that the DNC basically handed themselves an election loss by putting KLA Harris front and center, and thus their meltdown was unjustified. Then came the spark. Jillian Michaels casually tossed AOC into the mix, suggesting the Congresswoman was cut from the same cloth as Kamala, and then boom, that was the match that lit the fire. Ma raised an eyebrow, leaned in, and the whole vibe shifted. You could almost hear the temperature rise in real time. It was one of those did she just say that moments you don't see coming. Tensions flared, truths were dropped, and egos got singed. Trust me, you're going to want to hear what went down next.
Why is it that the Democrats didn't look at the reasons they lost and then try to come more to the middle? Instead,
they're doing it finally.
Not AOC, not Bernie.
Now, we all know Jillian Michaels leans conservative, but at this point, it's more than politics. You can actually see her pitying the Democrats because she knows, just like I've been saying on this channel for months, that the Democrats are on a slow march toward extinction. And let's not kid ourselves. This wouldn't be the first time in American political history that a major party collapsed under the weight of its own delusion. Michaels isn't mocking them. She's watching a sinking ship while the crew insists everything's fine. Now, Ma claims the DNC is shifting toward the center, but that's far from accurate, and Jillian rightly pushes back. Her million-dollar question ticks Ma off. If really the Democrats are moving toward center, why are they pushing AOC? Maher's answer might surprise you.
Matt Taibbi, he can be so funny. I think it was him with the funniest line. He said, AOC is practically a police sketch drawing of what Americans don't want for president.
Exactly. Jillian nailed it. The Democrats are still riding the woke wave, full speed ahead. If they weren't, they wouldn't even consider someone as radically woke as AOC. Let's be honest. AOC makes Kamala Harris look moderate. At least with Kamala. Half the time you couldn't tell where she actually stood. She was vague, calculated, elusive. On a woke scale from 1 to 10, I'd give Kamala a 4. But AOC, she's a hard 9 and proud of it. So, when people claim the Democrats are shifting to the center, I have to ask based on what exactly? Please don't even get me started on a guy who spends more time perfecting his hair than fixing his state. That's not centrism. That's style over substance. The truth is the DNC is still trapped in its own ideological bubble, hoping glamour and slogans can replace real leadership.
She's leading.
But it's 2025. The election isn't for 3 years. This means nothing.
You know what it is?
This means nothing.
It's the fact that I thought
they're not going to do it. I would bet my house on that. They are not going to go that route.
I appreciate Maher's optimism. Really, I do. But come on, all of us can be wrong. Don Lemon was on Club Random not too long ago. And when I asked him who he thought was next in line to succeed Kamala Harris, he didn't hesitate. He mentioned AOC. Another guest on Real Time with Bill, Maher, echoed the same sentiment. And now here comes Jillian Michaels saying exactly that. This isn't some fringe idea anymore. It's becoming a recurring theme. Personally, I see the future boiling down to a heavyweight showdown between AOC and Gavin Newsom, with AOC ultimately taking the crown. Why? Because while Newsom brings a Polish, AOC brings a fire. And let's not forget, no one gave Kamala Harris a dog's chance either. Yet somehow, she ended up leading the DNC into the abyss. So, if Maher's expecting logic or tradition to dictate the DNC's next move, he might want to brace himself because the next surprise is already warming up.
The Democratic Party wants to survive. Every party does. As they say in Jurassic Park, life finds a way. I see it out here with the groundhogs in my lawn. I see it with the Democrats. With the ducks. I have ducks, and they go in the pool, and I yell at them, and they get out.
Ma believes an AOC ticket would be a political failure, and he's convinced the DNC won't go down that road. But honestly, it feels like Ma's forgetting his own track record with this party. History says they don't listen to him. A few years ago, he sounded the alarm on Joe Biden's declining mental sharpness. Crickets. They charge ahead anyway. Then, 2 years ago, he warned them about Kamala Harris, calling her unelectable, uninspiring, and unrelatable. Still, the DNC doubled down and put her front and center. Now, here we are again, and Maher's hoping they'll take his advice on AOC. Come on. The Democratic establishment has made it clear they'd rather be ideologically pure than electorally strategic. So, while Ma makes a solid case, history tells a different story. A story where his warnings get brushed aside like yesterday's headlines. If anything, his criticisms might increase AOC's stock with the DNC's activist base. Because when Maher says don't, they hear definitely.
The Democratic Party, I do think, understands that they are at an existential moment. Parties don't have to survive. The Whigs came and went, and others, and they understand they're not going to win with the AOC wing.
Interestingly enough, AOC's approval rating is at an all-time high, even edging past Donald Trump's in some polls. That's no small feat. People aren't just supportive. They're enchanted by the AOC brand. She's young, vibrant, unapologetically bold, and proudly wears her working-class roots like a badge of honor. In an era obsessed with relatability and social media charisma, that combination is political gold. Is she the sharpest tool in the shed? Not exactly. But that hasn't stopped anyone from climbing the ranks in modern politics. Intellectual heft is no longer a prerequisite. Optics, energy, and narrative are what count. And AOC has mastered all three. Don Lemon and others have echoed the same sentiment. The DNC should stop overthinking and simply give the people what they want. And right now, like it or not, a significant chunk of the Democratic base wants AOC. Whether that's good for the party long-term is debatable, but the momentum is real and it's growing.
It's going to be a bitter pill for the Latinx, gluten-free, non-binary Hamas lovers in the party, but they're just going to have to swallow hard at the end of the day.
Yep. A vote for AOC is a vote for more wokeness. Plain and simple. She doesn't hide it, and her supporters embrace it like gospel. Honestly, rejecting her won't exactly break America's heart. Sure, the far left might throw a tantrum, but most people, they're exhausted. We've been force-fed woke ideology for the better part of 8 years. Lectured, guilt-tripped, and shamed for not towing the ever-changing line. The country is burnt out from identity politics, cancel culture, and this never-ending obsession with virtue signaling over actual results. And that's where Trump, love him or hate him, changed the game. He cut through the noise, flipped the script, and reminded people that common sense still has a place in public discourse. He's been a breath of fresh air for millions who are tired of walking on eggshells. So, no, we don't want to go backward. We don't want more division dressed up as progress. We want clarity, courage, and leadership. And that's not what AOC brings to the table. Even CNN can see this. That is why they predicted doom for the party.
All right, this is the generic ballot test. This is when you test people in a generic question. Of course, the House races aren't generic. There are 435 of them. What happens when you go race by race?
What happens when you go race by race? Well, it's the same idea. Okay, House seat ratings with a GOP president like back in 2005 and, of course, 2017. More net pickup seat chances. Well, last time around, look at that. Democrats were ahead by 33 seats. How about in 2005? Democrats were ahead by 7 seats. What's going on right now? It's actually Republicans. Actually, Republicans with more net pickup chances at plus 12, according to the Cook Political Report.
So, no, we're not wrong when we say the DNC is on a collision course with disaster, because every political indicator is flashing red, the writing's on the wall, and it's getting harder for even their most loyal allies to ignore. Just take a look at the midterm projections. They're grim for the Democrats. Their approval ratings are sliding, voter enthusiasm is dipping, and key battleground states are slipping through their fingers like sand. Over the past 6 months, the Democratic playbook has been painfully predictable. Attack Trump, stir anti-IC sentiment, deflect blame for the chaos in the Middle East, and hope the noise drowns out their failures. But here's the kicker. None of it's working. Despite their nonstop efforts to drag Trump through the mud, his popularity continues to hold strong, even growing in some areas. Why? Because voters see through the distraction tactics. They're tired of the blame games and desperate for leadership that actually delivers results. Trump, for all his flaws, still represents an alternative to many Americans. In the end, the Democratic Party isn't just out of touch. They're on a self-destructive path, ignoring warning signs from their own allies. Elevating AOC won't fix their problems. It'll magnify them. Meanwhile, Trump's momentum grows, fueled by a public tired of political theater and hungry for real leadership. If the DNC keeps doubling down on wokeness over wisdom, they won't just lose elections. They'll lose the country's trust entirely. And this brings us to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, then hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.